Yo, 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 yo. This your boy Sheppy J,
and the guru Tavante,
and this is our show, Function and Flow.
where we disturb your illusion, help you find your sense of peace.
Yes, yes. What's up, everybody? This is our first time on YouTube. We built our channel. It's a podcast. We're also on Spotify.
Yeah.
We're here to invoke your mind and your thoughts because we have a title today and a topic today, what we're going to talk about. And it is fear, and how fear controls you. And the topic is actually fear and the control of one's self. All right. And we're going to dig deep into this because sometimes we kind of look at the surface of things, not really digging into it all the way because we're scared. And why? It's because of fear. Fear controls, and it controls the illusion of what we sometimes think we're dealing with. And it's not until we sometimes bump into another person and say, oh man, it's not that bad. I've dealt with that on this type of level, and I've dealt with that on that type of level. And it's not until you hear the perspective of somebody else's situation that is similar to yours where you can say, man, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as it seemed. Because fear sometimes really twists your mind, but it is you that you're dealing with oneself. It is your perspective of what you see with your eyes, and you're like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't think, I don't know, man, because every time I deal with this, and the key thing is every time that you deal with this,
yes, key.
So it's power in what you are dealing with because that is your perception. That is what you see, and not what everyone else sees, and you can control that.
Yeah. I think that's what you said was spot on. I think that the part you said with the illusion and this whole idea of fear, and the part I caught too is that we're not often intentional about finding what it is that how we feel, because most of us we're not taught.
Right.
We don't have the space to even figure out how we feel.
Exactly.
And fear is a feeling. So if you're not used to understanding, well, how do I feel in this moment? How do I feel in this moment? When this happened and I reacted, why did I react that way? And it was based off a feeling that you weren't aware of. But we can trace it back to how we felt, which really we're gonna get more and more. That's everything. The feeling is everything. We got to show. We got to come up with. If we talk about the feeling and the feeling being everything, if we can do that, essentially what you can do is you can trace the feeling, control the feeling, control the thought, address the fear without even having someone come into your perspective,
right,
and help you do that. You can do it yourself, and then you can just kind of make the illusion just go away, just like scatter the fog, and then like, oh, I have clarity now. I have clarity now. That's a good feeling, having clarity, knowing where you're going, knowing where you've been, and seeing all the aligning and finding appreciation of all those aligning pieces that came into the alignment.
Right,
pieces connecting.
Right.
It's an amazing thing. So where you want to start, bro?
Bro, I want to start with the fear and its diluting process.
Diluting process.
What do you mean by that? This diluting process. I think diluting. All right, when you dilute something, you add something to it, and you take away from, the authenticity kind of it, and you stretch it out over time.
Right.
And I think that's what fear is. I think fear has been diluted. It's not as big as what we seem it is. I think things have been added to it, and we stretch it out over time, and we create something else. So the authenticity of fear itself, I remember you saying fear is a guide.
Yeah.
Fear isn't a danger.
Oh, you saying so what you're saying is that we have been taught to see fear in a certain perspective. This is how we define fear.
Absolutely.
But fear is not really that which we think it is.
Right.
So even there's an illusion how we see fear.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
You stretching my mind, bro. And I'm like, where's he going?
Absolutely.
We do these shows as a conversation because we always have great conversations.
Absolutely.
So we don't really do a lot of planning, but we just have this free flow. That's why it's called function and flow. And so this is like a spot on conversation you guys are witnessing. So this is not planned.
This is not planned. This is unscripted.
Unscripted.
And I think that's the great beauty of our show is because the authenticity of the energy that comes is it's not something that we've pinned down and put into action and say, okay, we're going to talk about this bullet point, this bullet point, this bullet point. We do come and say we're going to talk about a title of something.
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't necessarily know where it's going to go. We allow that functionality of oneself and our energy to feed off each other's energy because we want it to be authentic. I mean, look at our setting.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Look at our setting. We like the raw, unscripted. Look, we're in my guy's house and he's revamping his home.
I've been renovating.
And he's renovating.
Yeah.
And he's do everything himself, right? And we're like, man, he's like, you sure you want to do it over here? You know what I'm saying? Man, that's good. Because if you do it at my house, it's going to be a lot of noise. You know what I'm saying? My kids everywhere. I have 10 children. So they're going to be jumping everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And but to get back on topic, fear, I think, has been diluted with like everything else has been diluted. Fear isn't this big, horrible face monster that we face every day. Fear is this nick in our stomach, that little bit of conviction that's like a little check. Yeah. All fear is a check.
It's like, hey, you may want to go that way.
Yeah,
you may want to go.
You may want to go this way.
You may want to come this way.
Right. It's like a check in our spirit.
Right.
Fear isn't this. Don't want to do that. Right. Because if you do that, you're gonna lose everything.
You're gonna die.
Let me let y'all know. No one loses everything. Nobody.
It's very true.
It's impossible. It's impossible to lose everything. You know why? Because from everything, nothing is the true essence of everything.
The origin. It's where everything starts.
Nothing.
Right.
The beauty of nothing is everything. So you can't really lose it because it is everything is a perspective made up. If you lose your home today, you're gonna lose. Let's say you lose your home today, right? Are you really losing your home, or are you gaining an experience?
Right.
Are you gaining something from the loss of something that is material? You're going to gain something.
Yeah.
So you lose this home to get a better one.
Or you go to an apartment. Or you go to your mom's place.
And if you go to an apartment, you don't have a mortgage.
Right.
If you don't have a mortgage, you have extra money.
Right.
You're not paying taxes. Hold on, all you're paying is a light bill and a gas bill. Because if you go to an apartment, you don't have to worry about the water.
Right.
So there are things that you're gaining. You're really not losing. But everything has been poured into fear. This cup of fear, like, let's stretch this out. Because if you stretch it out, people will see it as something that's big.
Right. And that becomes a thing of control. And I really believe that no one really can control us. But I think those are people who are seeking to control us, not with an evil intention. They think they're really doing good.
Yeah.
They think they're really doing what's best for us because we're incapable. That's another show. But let's get back on this idea of fear. And so what my brother here is talking about is fear is this one thing we've seen it. He's doing a great job defining how we see it. We see it as this big, bodacious, audacious thing that is it's like a titan. It's like this big standing soldier, like Goliath and David. You know,
right.
We're David and fear is Goliath.
Yeah.
Goliath is like Tyson, and he's like, Iron Mike Tyson get in the ring, man. He just looks at you and you shrivel. Shrivel under the fear, right? This idea. But what he's also alluding to is that if we could just tweak, let's say we believe that that's what fear is, because sometimes it's hard to go from one place to another place and just make the change,
right? Because
our beliefs are very, very strong, right? Very strong beliefs. It can be very difficult. It's not difficult to change them, but we make it difficult because we lean to them and we build our foundation, we build our lifestyle, we build our things that we think and believe on these foundations, and and changing those foundations can be very fearful for us because now we have to rethink and revamp and relive our whole lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we leave it there. We're not gonna go and attack that, okay? But say we're gonna pivot and we're gonna look somewhere else, just slightly for a little while longer. Let's say the possibility that fear could be what we're also saying it is. It's like a feeling that says you don't really like that. You don't really want to be there. You don't really want to do that. That don't really feel good to you.
Yeah.
You know, this is not even true. You know, that's not it. What you thought about that Think about this. Here's an example. I want to be a millionaire. And I go invest. I make the first step. I go invest into some stocks, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have the fear of losing my money,
Losing
right?
your money, right?
Right, fear. We all know this, right? We
Right.
go do something different,
Mm-hmm.
and we have some fear.
Absolutely.
The fear could mean our latter belief we're gonna lose it all. That could be true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're not here to change the reality. We're here to give you options. I love that. I
Yes, yes.
love giving people options about what to believe.
Absolutely.
Okay. So another option is that the fear could also mean that thought that you thought about losing is literally a separation from what you really know is true.
Mm.
I always quote her because a lot of my thoughts and my I don't follow anyone because I don't really like the idea of following and being a part of a group. I don't like that idea
I'm not
anymore.
a fan.
I'm not a fan of anyone, but there are people that I credit because their work and their self-realization has helped me to realize who I am, and I'm grateful for. Abraham Hicks, he always talks about our higher self is us in our full energetic version. It is us that has experienced all and been all, past, future. It's everything that we desire and want. It's us in our what we're trying our goal form. Okay, I don't like that word goal, but if we're trying to get somewhere, and that's us, right? That version of us knows where we are and where we're going. It knows what is true because it is pure energy. It doesn't revolve in our perspective of emotional fear or loss. It doesn't have those experiences. And so when we think about what we want, investing in this stock, and then we also think we get excited about that, right? Initially, we get excited about it.
Yeah.
That's that alignment. That's that alignment with who we are.
Absolutely.
So if the excitement is alignment with who we are, then fear is the antithesis of that. It's the opposite of that. And it's the separation. It's like excitement, alignment, fear, separation. So maybe a possibility is that fear is letting us know that we're not aligning where we are. And that it's that gritty feeling that, oh, it doesn't feel good. And helps us to understand that what we really want to do is feel aligned all the time. Most time, we want to feel aligned.
And I can look at it at another way.
Go ahead.
Fear, that feeling that we have, that fear is something that we've been comfortable holding on to. And sometimes when we unlatch from a certain way of living and thought, we get this fear because we are detaching ourselves from something that we're used to holding on to, something that's been a leech. So now our energy is flowing in a different space, opposed to here now, we're going here. So now when you detach yourself from something that has had you comfortable, then this energy of fear come in. That's really little, but all it is like a little check.
Yeah.
And that check doesn't necessarily mean, oh, this ain't right. That check can be like, you're going to another level.
Exactly.
And when you go to another level, you're not going to have that same feeling that you had over here. Because one thing about it is you were taught to think here. But guess what? When you're doing something without somebody telling you to do it, you get that fear like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. And what do? We go ask for somebody else's opinion to get us comfortable.
The validation.
Guess what this topic is about? Fear and the control of one's self. This is not about fear and the control of you and
Getting
your
help.
mama, you and your dada, you and your papa, you and Nana,
right?
You and Lil John. No, this is you,
right?
Yourself.
You and your best
so
friend.
When you're by yourself and you're about to go somewhere,
yeah,
you gonna feel that little, oh man, this don't feel too good. But why do you equate with this feeling not being good?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you was taught
that it wasn't good.
That too, but you were taught what's good and what's not good. You were taught. You never just went along with anything because from the time you was a little bebop up to now,
I like that
you
beatbox.
little beatbox running around. You're taught how to think. But the moment that you're alone,
Yeah.
you're by yourself, no one's around, and you're like, I'm about to sign this contract. You look over here, look over there.
Ain't nobody around.
Nobody around. You never had this thought by yourself.
Yeah.
And now the fear comes in because you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You're about to make this decision. You alone about to make this decision. So you're looking up. I like he made a great analogy. He drew something that was so true because we're going up, we're going up, we're going up, and we see the cliff, we see the edge.
Yeah.
We look over and say, "Oh, that's awesome!" But I've never been this high.
You know what we say, bro? We say, "Oh shit."
And like you, and the reason why we say that is because we look down. Like,
right, exactly.
I was that far down, and I'm this far up. But what if I fall?
Yep, exactly.
Why did you get that thought in your head? But what if I fall? Because you was taught. You were taught. Why do you want to go that high? What if you fall? It's going to hurt worse than it did if you were low to the ground. That's not true.
It's not true.
Because guess what? Most accidents are on the ground, not in the air.
Exactly. Car accidents.
Air,
you don't have as many
plane accidents than you do car accidents. So everybody fear getting on a plane is an analogy of the fear of everybody rising to the top. Everybody can buy a plane ticket, get on a plane, and live the high life.
Yeah.
But because of your fear of the air, because you know if you're up there and down here, if you fall, it may hurt worse because somebody told you that, you don't excel. Man. You don't excel not because your mama told you not to, because of your fear, the one self. You've equated what good and what bad is. You've equated it's too high for me to fall up here when you can be walking along what you normally do every day.
Trip, sprain your ankle.
Boom. Now you can't go to work. Now you miss pay. Miss too many days off the job. Now they fire you. Guess what? You fell on the ground that you were standing on. Right. You had no height. You built nothing. You built no height. So think about it. When you build height, you fall back down to something that's called foundation. So when you have a foundation on something, you're not losing. Yeah. You're not losing. So fear, let's stop putting fear in this cup and then pouring water on top of it and then stretching it out. That's how I see fear. I see fear as we just keep pouring water and diluting it. It was dark. It was dark green. Now it's like light green. It's like olive. Now it's like, you can barely see the color. Right. Because you just diluted it with everybody else's thoughts. I remember I was coming out of high school and I wanted to go to Columbia for acting drama. And I wrote my first paper. I was just talking to my wife about this. I wrote my first my essay to get into college, and my essay rocked. Like my essay was so good. It was the first paper I wrote. It was flawless. It was no errors, no grammatical errors, anything, punctuality, everything was on point. And they put my paper up in the counselor's office for everybody to see. That paper got me accepted to Columbia just off that paper. I go in, I get accepted. I start doing all of my routine stuff, financial aid and everything, right? And I'm talking to people that's around me when I was younger, and they say, "Man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go take out all those student loans, man." Mind you, I got accepted to Columbia. I loved acting. I was really great at it.
You remind me of Denzel, bro.
You the second person to tell me.
Yeah, I get the Denzel vibe from you.
Yeah, and I was the first person not the first person, but many people was telling me that. And so I love acting. And somebody said, "Jay, people around me, you take out them student loans, man. Fear sets in." So man, when I have to pay back all these student loans, I don't think this is a good idea for me to go there. Fear sets in. Somebody else's thought and perspective of something that I could have been great in this time. I could have been very seeing the world just off being a thespian, an actor alone. And I let it stop me. And guess what? I got older and I decided to go to culinary art school. Guess what I did? I took out loans. Right now I got student loans I got to pay back. Same thing I would have done if I would have listened to self. And not let everybody else's fear paralyze me. Or everybody else's perception paralyze me. And I always look at that. And you know what that is? That's a check for me. Check. If you're familiar with chess, when the person says check, they're saying warning. I'm about to take your king. So check is very respectful. They say warning. Check. Look at your board. I got a check, but I had no experience because I was counting on everybody else's experience around me and not myself. And I had a check. Warning. You don't want to listen to them, Jay. You are aborting something that can have you further along. Check, Jay. And I ignored it. And then I sit back, the older I get, and I look at my children, and I got that same check, like, check. So my son, keep moving on, bro. I'm not gonna manipulate your mind just because of my fear or my experience and what I dealt with and my perspective, because guess what? That was told to me. But what I will do is enlighten you on what it is that you can do to increase in the decision that you're making, not to abort it. Oftentimes somebody tell us we shouldn't do what we're trying to do and accomplish. I wouldn't do that if I was you. I wouldn't do my own. I wouldn't do all the renovation myself in my own house if I was you. You're gonna get exhausted. You know what I'm saying? What if I can't? You're gonna get exhausted. Now, even if you don't take that energy, you got a perception in your mind. Somebody telling you in your mind, like, hold on. That's why you gotta be careful of who you let. You gotta cut them off.
Or the funny thing about it too is that I've been told this, and I made the mistake of doing this when I was quite younger. I would tell everyone my ideas. Off the bat, I get excited and I go tell everyone I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And what I realized is that your idea is like a little baby. It's like a little infant. You know what I'm saying? It's actually not even an infant. It hasn't even been born yet. It's still in you, right? It's still in you, right? And when you go tell someone about them, what they do is, like you said earlier, they put their perception about what's best for them, because what they're talking about is what they wouldn't do. It has, my favorite new word is irrelevant. If it's not coming from you, it is totally fucking irrelevant. You gotta add the F word to that, because it is that serious. It's so irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything about you. And these people are kind of rare, but those people that you want around you will not even give you advice. They will listen to you, let you speak, and they will just say, well, I've seen you do this. Whatever you want to do is possible. They stay general. They don't tell you specifically what is possible or what is not possible, because they know that their perspective is totally about them not about you.
Not about you.
And you have to understand that when someone is saying, don't do this, you have to take that thought, filter it through, they're talking about them. Absolutely. My mom is talking about what she's comfortable with. My dad's talking about what he's comfortable with. My husband or my spouse is talking about what they're comfortable with. But it's totally irrelevant to me. I have my own desires. I have my own ambitions. I have my own ideas. And if if you receive the idea, that alone says that you are worthy of it, because most folks don't receive the ideas.
No.
Think about all the things that have been created, electric cars and cell phones. And we talk to folks like communication is key. We talk to some folks overseas without even seeing them. That's amazing technology. Someone had to receive that thought that was possible, because before there was someone who said that was impossible. You had to be face to face to talk to someone, or send some mode of letter, or via pigeon or a hawk or whatever, right? But those ideas in progression prove that we are receiving something, and if you are receiving something, then that was meant for you because everyone's not receiving it.
Right. And a lot of people are receiving it, but because of fear and the perception of everybody else, they ignore
press it. Right.
You know why? How many versions of a car is being created every day? We got Ford, Chrysler, GM, Tesla, Mercedes, Kia, all of these, right? It started with a person having an idea.
Yeah.
And saying, all right, I'm gonna move on this idea. Another person said, oh, I like what he did, but I'm gonna enhance that and I'm gonna move on mine. Oh, I like what he did, I'm gonna enhance that, I'm gonna move on mine. Then there's some person who thought of a chair. But because somebody said, oh man, you don't got the tools to make that.
All right.
They aborted the chair. And then somebody else, guess what? It was created. People gotta, man, whatever you see here can be in front of you.
Yeah.
If all of the chairs or tables on the planet was not created right now, somebody will create them.
It's going to be created by somebody.
It's going to be created.
It's going to be created.
It's going to come forth. The thought that you have in your mind right now about an invention or a creation or a corporation or a business,
somebody's going to make
restaurant, somebody's going to do it.
Yeah.
I thought about kid competitions. Before kids competitions in the chef, I'm a chef by trade and profession. Before they even started, guess what? They came out.
They made it.
Now, if I would have acted on what I created here, I would be the first to do it.
Right.
You got to understand there's nothing new under the sun. Just because you got to take from the great words of Miles Monroe. I love this guy. He said, anytime there is a problem, there's money to be made.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Anytime there is a problem, there is money to be made. When there is a crisis in the world, there's money to be made.
Exactly.
Because there is a need. Wherever there's a need, he said, you don't go to work looking for solutions. You go to work looking for problems because you are the solution.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to work looking, all right, what can I fix? What is it that's lacking? Boom, money go up. People get money. Get money, get money, get money. Increase the value, your equity, you increase because of your knowledge. You looking at what the problem is. Managers get paid not to do the work. They get paid because of the problems.
Right.
I had to realize that. Jay, you're not here to cook. You're a chef. You're here because there's a problem in the food department. You can cook, but you don't have to. A chef don't have to cook. You show the people how to do it. They cook. There's a problem. More people need to learn how to cook. There's a problem. They need new ingredients. There's a problem. They need a better menu. There's a problem. They need a new operational system in the kitchen. There's a problem. Who can fix that problem? You can fix that problem, Jay. Why are you tripping about the problem? That's what you get paid for, to fix the problem. If there is no problem, there is no job for you. If there is no problem, there is no invention. If there is no problem, there is nothing that's going to spark you to create that invention you've been thinking about. Because you see a problem, you become the creator.
And, bro, that's spot on, because the initial part we're talking about is whole fear, control oneself, right? We hit it on. I'm kind of do a review, so we kind of talking a conversation. But first, you feel the fear, and you have to address where that fear came from. And you what you said earlier was that we're talking about oneself. That's talking about the control of other people. So it's not about you convincing your mom that you can do it. It's about you convincing yourself that you can do it, right?
That's right.
And so once you do that and you start working on that thing, the fear is not going to go away. It's going to come. It's come back again. So you start addressing that problem with whatever you're doing, whether you're making your first investment in the stock market, whether you're having a kid, you're getting married, or whatever you're doing. You're doing this thing based on this vision you had in your mind that you received, right? And you're proving yourself worthy of that thing that you received. Now you get the vision. We can go back to the illustration too. You get the vision of where you want to go and start working towards it. And then you get to the point and the fear comes back and you look down and you fall again, right?
There you go.
And now I'm losing my thought here. You said, what did you say earlier, a few seconds ago?
That when you see the problem,
Yeah. Oh, the
Oh,
problem.
the problem.
So now you're working to redefine what a problem is,
Mm-hmm.
because we see problems as reasons to fear,
Yeah.
right?
Because we've been taught that.
We talk that,
Yeah.
right? We see problems as reasons to fear, but problems are your opportunity for expansion.
Yes.
Opportunity for expansion.
Problems are opportunity for expansion. I like how you put that.
Yeah.
This is the guru. Okay. This guy is the guru. Guruski, baby. Yes. Problems are there to expand, man. And it's not until you control oneself to where you really fully expand. I mean, I look at all of the creators before us, like Steve Jobs. I love this guy, Steve Jobs, because he was a problem for other people.
Oh yeah. That's where you want to be.
He was a problem for other people. I'm sorry. The guy was very, what we call arrogant.
Yeah.
Very just rude, obnoxious, selfish. But he pushed you to see at a level outside of the box.
Yeah.
He looked at his daughter and he said, "You know this right here, this phone?" He said, "I'm gonna put 1,000 songs on this phone." What? He said, "Because I'm tired of you carrying around those little earplugs and the head cassette tapes and CDs, and you have to put this in it." He said, 1,000, all the music's gonna be on this phone.
Stay right there, bro. Because I got
music.
I just took apart my laptop.
And you're thinking, like, how are you gonna put 1,000 songs on this? And now they got Apple Music.
Talking about hard drives, RAM.
Yeah.
This RAM right here is 4 gigs. Remember back in the day when computers first came about?
Mm-hmm.
Having a computer with 8 gigs of RAM was like you were doing something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got these little small, slim things that weigh like 10 ounces, 5 ounces. This thing is this is 200 some gigs right here, but this thing is heavy as I don't know what. I just replaced this. I do this kind of stuff with 250 gigs of RAM, and it weighs like this. It's not this big. I mean, it's way bigger than this, but it weighs this much. And so what you're saying is someone had to envision that was possible.
It's a problem. Somebody said it's a problem. The computers are too big. I want to put a computer in my pocket.
In my pocket.
What? What? People thought it was crazy. Somebody thought to bottle water. In the 90s, I'm serious. Somebody said, let's invest in bottled water. Nobody's going to buy bottled water. That's what they said. We got water in our trunk. We got water at the house, in the faucet. Nobody's going to buy your bottled water. We got filters. We can test it. Nobody's going to buy that. And bottled water is a multi-billion-dollar corporation industry. Bottled water, man. How many brands of bottled water do you have out there right now? People that I don't drink tap. You got bottled water. Everybody got bottled water. Let me go buy some bottles of water. People on the street sell bottles of water. Water. You got water at home in your sink and you will buy it. Somebody's seen a problem. You didn't see the problem, but somebody else did.
But there are problems around you that you see every day.
And I guarantee you, they have fear.
Yeah.
And that check was like, oh, what if nobody buy it?
Right.
But what if they do?
Right.
You got to always say that to yourself. If somebody tell you, well, man, somebody gonna buy those cookies. But what if somebody do buy these cookies?
Right.
Oh, they'll be the next Mrs. Fields.
And that's what you're talking about. That what he did was that pivot I was talking about earlier. You're observing what is fear, right? Mm-hmm. And then you don't have to change how you think about things. You don't have to go in war with Goliath to make your life different. That's what we believe we have to do. We have to just like really try really hard to just change everything about our life. That's hard work.
But Goliath ain't all that big. He's been diluted.
That's true. But in your mind, you believe it to
Yeah.
be what it is, and based on your beliefs, that's a really hard thing to do. All you gotta do is make a slight pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Just make a slight pivot and look somewhere else and say, well, what if that's possible?
What if it's possible?
Let's play with that idea. I had a kid, so I mentor, and a lot of our children, not a lot, yeah, a lot, I will say a lot of our, not all of our children, but a lot of our children are products of their parents.
Yes.
Okay. Some kids are just different. They don't
Mm-hmm.
care what their parents say. They don't soak in all the beliefs. They soak in some beliefs. They don't soak in all the beliefs. But most of us are products of our parents. And I heard this kid, we was having this conversation, but it felt like he was really wanting to engage in the
Mm-hmm.
idea of possibilities of things going wrong,
Mm.
which I refuse to do because I know myself and I know
Right.
my own brain.
Right.
And he was like, well, what if we get in a car accident? That's not going to happen. But what if we did? But why would that happen? But what if we did? And I could not get him
Mm.
to get off this idea that there was something erroneous or bad that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He was stuck to the idea, and all it showed me was that that's how we think
Mm-hmm.
as adults.
Mm-hmm.
We're just conditioned, and we are addicted to the idea of fear because
Fear. We're
it
addicted
is
to it.
in a world of nothing to hold on. At least it's something to hold on to.
Yep. The I woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah,
So I just in case if it don't, I'm gonna hold it on to this.
I'm holding on to
This
this.
is my backup plan. I'm gonna hold
Yeah,
on to this just in case. That's the mentality we have. Like there's no such thing as poverty.
I know.
There's no such thing as poverty. No such thing. Poverty is a mind state,
It
and
is.
it's a state of mind. Somebody keep telling you you need something, you're gonna believe it.
Exactly.
You don't need paper. Call money. Yes, you do, Jay. How you gonna change your mind? You need wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's the
need
pivot.
influence.
That's the pivot.
You need to stop worrying. You need to be in control of one's self. Put fear on a shelf. Let's talk about David and Goliath.
Okay.
If you know the story of David and Goliath, it's Goliath. He was talking about the Israelites, and Samuel was the king at that time, and David's bigger brothers were a part of the army, and David he just came to give his brother some lunch. His dad sent him to the field to give his brother some lunch. His brother's like, man, what are you doing here, man? What are you doing here? And David overheard Goliath talking down to the Israelites,
Mm.
and he was like, you nothing. Y'all ain't nothing. He was talking about their God. Now, everybody else in the Israel's camp in the army, even King Saul, he said, this guy's huge. Everybody was concerned about how big he was.
Yeah.
Everybody was in fear about how big he was. David said, this dude is disrespecting us. Do y'all know who our God is? Now, this is David. This is the story. This is the allegory. This is the story of what's going on. David said he didn't focus on how big he was. He focused on how disrespectful he was.
Hmm.
You know what David said? I come to you in the name of my God. He take the 3 stones, and David is charging at the giant, and the giant is charging at him. He's slinging his shot, and boom, David, the giant fall down, boom, he cut off his head. Now you got this man, my statue, going against Andre the Giant, and we running. Now, I'm taught to run from somebody that's that big.
All right.
But because you got that check, hold on. If I let him do this, then everybody
else gonna do it too.
else gonna do it, no matter how big or small.
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna be able to live down or live up to who we truly are. So David said, let me go show this big fellow who I am. And because he had no fear, he ran. He had that check. He ran towards him, knocked him down. When we look at something that's an obstacle in our way, we need to look at it and say, I'm bigger than that. Don't look at how big it is. Look at the problem.
No.
What is the problem? You don't have a house and you want one? Look at the benefits of what you can have, not the mortgage. Stop looking at the taxes.
All right.
Because as long as you're down here, you're always going to pay for something.
Even when you get a house, you're gonna pay
Even when
taxes.
you're going to pay taxes.
You're gonna pay taxes.
You get an apartment, you're going to pay rent.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't get a home. I'm not to tell me that. I'm not telling you that because I'm in the process of getting things together with my wife and we want a home. But even if you don't have a home and you got an apartment, when you get a home, it's still like you have an apartment. Think, you're gonna pay taxes. Even if the mortgage is paid, you still gotta pay property taxes every year. You gotta pay for something on this plane.
Yeah.
Okay? And so don't let fear of, oh man, what if I don't have the money? Okay, if you don't have the money, it's a problem. Guess what? Create another means of income. Create something different. You're about to sign a contract. Don't look at, oh man, I got to do this. I got to do this. Look at, I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. And let me negotiate this and this and this and this. You really want me to sign this contract? This is what I'm going to have.
Right. I think what you're saying is one is the idea of what do they call it? One is the mindset of lack. That's the poverty mindset. I don't have enough.
Yep.
The other one is a mindset of abundance. Is that I have resources all around me, even if I see them or not see them, there are resources around me. And I always have enough. So one perspective is I have to minimize my expenses down so I can survive. The other one is I can create opportunities so I can have more money and do whatever I want.
Do whatever I want. And that used to be me. That used to be me. I'd be like, man, I don't have enough of that. I don't have enough of this. That don't even come out my mouth no more.
Right, because you always
that don't even come out my like it don't. I don't even think like that no more. I don't even think like, man, I mean, I have enough. I don't think like that no more.
Yeah. I learned that from Robert Kiyosaki. He say, don't say you don't have it. Ask yourself, how can you get it?
That's it.
How can you get it? I don't have it versus, well, how can I get it? And then that it's kind of like when you ask a kid a question. As a teacher, I used to be a teacher. I'm still a teacher, I guess, right now. I'm still teaching. But I was teaching in public schools, and I would ask a kid, because I love solving problems. How can we solve this problem? And they would say, I don't know. And it's like a period in a sentence. It's like it's like final.
Right.
It doesn't have to be final. It could be, well, I don't know, but right, we can try this or we can try that. There are possibilities, and getting those juices to flow is what that statement does. I don't have it versus how can I get it? And there are resources always among us. So yeah.
And sometimes don't even say I don't know. Say, let me think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
you know that answer right now.
There's a possibility that I do know this. As a matter of fact, you do know. It's come across you before. You may not realize it, but it's been in you to answer the questions that people are asking. And I tell my son, I said, if you listen, you can answer your own question.
Yeah.
I said, just listen, because everything that you're asking me right now, son, I'm about to give to you, and then you're gonna have that aha moment, like, oh. And he listened. He was like, okay, Dad. Walked away. His questions were answered. Guess who answered them? He did.
Yeah,
Not me.
Exactly. And you know why? Because fear is not only a feeling, but it creates a world. It creates a perspective. It creates how you see things. And in fear, you can only see the lack thereof. But when you get to those higher thoughts of faith and belief and joy and happiness, then you see all the creative possibilities around you, right? And all you're doing is relaxing, and your vibration is rising, and now your views are changing, and now you see possibilities.
Let me. I think I need to get into the fear business. Jake, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I want to hear this too.
I think I need to get into the fear business.
Okay, think about this.
Fear is a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's probably $1 trillion.
$1 trillion. Like, you know why? I said, Jake, what are you talking about? I don't understand it. Get to it, man. Get to the. What do you mean? You buy medicine because you fear you're
Because
gonna die.
you're gonna exactly.
So you buy heart medicine. You go up there. You buy that medicine.
Right.
Then we go to the movies. Horror.
Right.
We love to be in fear.
Right.
You know what? It draws our energy. So somebody's getting money off your fear.
Yeah.
Because you are scared.
Oh, another one. Education. You want to get a good job, so
Won't
go
get
to
a good
school.
job. Go to school.
Go to school.
Fear.
Fear. Right.
And that's another topic because right there, that is juicy. The educational system,
It's crazy.
college, universities,
Online
that's
schools.
juicy.
That's
That's juicy. So when I say get into the fear business, I'm like, you want to buy this Jamba juice because you fear you're gonna get fat.
Right. Exactly.
So buy this juice.
Right.
I'm thinking, I'm not fearing fat. Juice is good. I want to drink some juice.
Right.
Some people fear that they're gonna get fat, so they stay in the gym and they stay bulked out. They fear if they don't do this, then things are gonna start breaking down.
Mm.
So the fear, somebody looked at people that are overweight and said, "There's a diet that I can create that I can put people on." They seen a problem.
Yeah.
Seen a problem from someone else's fear.
Mm.
Or you see a problem just because you see a problem. But there are I said that because people see things and then they create. They see what's going on in the earth on this plane and then they start creating. But until you control oneself, then you can fully grip what you can create yourself and stop allowing that fear to control you and to stop you, but allow that uncomfortable feeling to help you evolve and become. Because when somebody say check on a chessboard, now you got to look and see which ways that you can castle their king.
Mm.
How can you avoid this checkmate now?
Mm.
You don't just give up the game. Some people do resign.
Yeah.
But you gotta stop resigning.
Yeah.
Even if you don't see your way out, you keep fighting until the very end. And then maybe you're gonna see them make a mistake. And it's called blunders. And people make blunders every single day because they get cocky and they're moving, but they didn't see the rook in the corner. And their king is aligned with that rook. As soon as that rook come down, that blunder, take the king out.
Right.
So allow that fear to be that check for you to look at your board and say, if I take this, I'm going to be at this level. If I don't take it, I'm going to drop back down here. And then I'm going to have these reclining thoughts of, man, I should have just went with it. At least got the experience to see how it felt to be so high up.
Mm.
Opposed to just allowing my fear to control me to the point where I just accepted defeat. And then you hear someone else's story that went through the same thing as you, but now they excelled because they took the opportunity, opposed to worrying about how the fear could consume them, worrying about all the negativity and all the negative things that can happen. They said, no, 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 no. Let me take this. Because even if I fall, I'll fall back where I started from.
Yeah. There's a scene in have you seen the Joker?
The Joker. The new one?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see the new one.
Oh man. So if I would have saw this movie 5 years ago, I would have had a different perspective on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout
I love
my personal evolution, I have let go of the idea of wrong and right.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one to let go.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of wrong and right. We talked about that in
Mm-hmm.
another show.
Yeah.
But in the Joker, he had this desire to be something.
Mm-hmm.
What did he want to be? He wanted to be a killer.
Mm.
Okay. He wanted to be this person that just totally, whatever was genuine in him, he wanted to let that come forth and be unashamed unapologetic about it, right? But his mom, he had the pressure of his mom. He had to take care of his mom. His mom was lying about him, creating other illusions about who his father was. He had this idea that his father was this powerful person, but did not claim him. And because of his not claiming, he couldn't be this. But he wanted to be a comedian, right? But what happened was in the show, all these things were happening. They were building up, building up, right? And he made this comedy spiel, and he got sent on through the airwaves. And one of the guys that he looked up to, this TV show host, saw him, pulled him on the show, and they made fun of him. Totally humiliating. They totally. And before it happened, he realized it was going to happen, and all this climactic movement to this moment where he just said, you know what? I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I'm a killer. I'm going to be a killer. And she gets on the show, like, not as someone he's trying to be, but in his true self, Joker it out, like Joker face out, everything. And they like, what the hell's going on here? Who's this guy, right? and like the anchor and the executive writer, they were like, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Now we're gonna roll with it, right? We're gonna roll with it. He gets on the show and he's like, yeah, I know you guys gonna make fun of me. Pull out a gun and shoots the shoots him dead.
Wow.
And what he did was and it's not about, I don't want people to get stuck on the idea of killing someone. I'm not advocating for murder.
Right.
You know, what I'm saying was that
we're not advocating for murder, guys.
Right, exactly.
Right. Disclaimer.
Exactly.
We're not telling you to kill anybody.
But what was going on in the city was there were so many folks who felt powerless to be who they were when they saw that image of him being fully who he was, unapologetic. That was the explosion where folks could say, I want to be who I want to be. And that's what we're advocating for today, is that there are many things that are illusions about what we should do, how we should act, what we should not do, right?
Right.
But whatever you're receiving is you. Just be you and be unapologetic. And that's what I loved about the movie. He was totally unapologetic about what he did after he got to killing everyone on the show. Like, this is so hilarious. It kind of bad, but he's like this scene where he's like walking down the stairs, and he was afraid because he left there in fear, but he has this invincible mindset. So I got away with it. I'm invincible. And then you can see the confidence and everything and that he's like doing his Joker walk. He's like doing his Joker walk, you know.
and that's I see where
he's going. Alive.
Yeah.
In that moment, he was totally alive. He was totally alive, not held down by any beliefs about what he should be and what he should not be, or whatever he thought was. He was totally creating his reality.
Good. That's like, you can create your reality.
You can create your own reality.
You can create your reality, and you get a sense of confidence. You know what I'm saying? When you get that first verse out.
Yeah.
When you like, let's say you a MC. When you get that first verse out, and you got the crowd going, and the music is jamming. Right. You're just like,
and you're in the zone.
And the crowd like, yeah, your confidence right. And then you in a zone. Yeah. Then you become who you want to be.
Right.
You become yourself. And you're like, this is I feel this. This is what I want to be. This is what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use this energy to create who I am.
Right.
And I know there's some people out there that's gonna be like, man, you shouldn't do that. But I'm gonna feed off what you're telling me I shouldn't do.
Right.
And I'm gonna go even harder.
Yeah.
So go harder. Go harder to control oneself. Go harder and to look at that fear and allow it to be a check for you to say, hey, let me excel even higher. Allow what's uncomfortable to conform you to a place to become who you truly are. We're not telling you to go kill anyone. We're not telling you to go smack anybody. All right. But what we are telling you to do He used that form as an analogy of the confidence
Yeah.
of becoming himself. When you become yourself and you get that confidence and you go out on a limb, so to speak, when somebody else don't know who you are, be who you are.
Yeah.
Because can't nobody be you but you. Nobody can do what you do. Nobody can sound how you sound. Nobody can walk how you walk. You have to be confident in you and allow that fear to be a check and not a solution. That fear is not a solution to your problem, but a check to help you climb a ladder higher than you've ever been, allowing you to evolve better to the person that you claim you are in your imagination. So continue to think, continue to move forward, and remember, fear in this world has been diluted. It's been a lot of water poured in that cup to expand fear to something that's very small.
Mm.
You think like that. I don't want to get you to believe anything because belief is allowing somebody else's thoughts to become true for you.
All right.
I want you to know because when you know, you can excel. Knowing is knowledge, believing is captivity. So know who you are. Then that's who you will become. If you believe you are that person, you're going to always have the perception of somebody else telling you you're not. But when you know who you are, can't nobody tell you any different.
True.
I know I'm a chef. That's what I became.
Mm.
I know I was going to have 13 children. Now I'm on my 11th. I know that we were going to do this podcast one day. And guess what? The energy here with this brother, we started it. And I know we're going to touch millions across the United States and then billions across the world because we're going to evoke your mind to think for yourself. Yo, this is Chefy J, Function and Flow, baby, and my boy,
the guru, Tavante.
And this is Function and Flow Podcast. We love you. We're going to see you again. Tune in next week, every Sunday. We're going to drop some knowledge nuggets for real.
For sure.
And sometimes we're going to be silly.
And curse a lot.
and say the stuff that you've been thinking about. All right? Your kids can't watch this show.
No. No, definitely not with me on.
But you can. We love you guys. Peace.